Are you a Soviet-era enthusiast? Do you get a rush when you fire a weapon that is built off of trunnions made out of peanut butter? Do your favorite guns have that flair that only Eastern European peasant child labor can provide? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is with a heavy heart that I bring to your attention that one of the major purveyors of such things is no longer with us. Pioneer Arms has fallen by the wayside and will likely not return. That and more after we hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by 1st Phorm. 1st Phorm is a pro-American, pro-freedom supplement company, and they have something really cool going on that illustrates this. They have a huge giveaway going on in collaboration with Vortex Optics. We're talking about over $8,000 in prizes, everything from vouchers from Vortex to supplements to a range day, round trip travel, a whole bunch of cool stuff. If you want more information on that, then you can use my link listed in the link tree or on the affiliates page. Send yourself over there, get entered to win. And special thanks to 1st Phorm for making today's video possible. I have always been a major fan of the AK. And I think that what is attractive to me about the AK is that it exists as a marker of history. It exists as a reminder of a time that was just different than where we currently live. It is a post-World War repressionist society that has just got done with one of the worst conflicts of human history and has sat down and looked itself in the mirror and said, wow, everybody had cooler stuff than we did. And to make sure that that was never the case again, they went out and embraced Western capitalism. Who wrote, this isn't right. The motherland will have greatest weapons program on planet, and successful comrade designer will get extra salt pork ration and other competitors will be shot. So through that glorious gauntlet of subservience to the state, a man that knew nothing about designing guns whatsoever melded medieval metallurgy techniques with the little bits of technology that have been able to permeate across the Iron Curtain from the Industrial Revolution that has been going on throughout the rest of the world, and forged the AK-47. He also stole it from the Germans. To the victor go the spoils, so to speak. Fast forward to today, and the AK and all of its variants is easily the most popular weapon in the world. It is in decline, though, and it is in decline for a couple of reasons. One is belligerence on the part of the Soviets. The other is the breakup of the Soviet Union, who was the weapon state that was like really pushing it all over the world, and that is 40 years gone at this point in time. As far as the major market for the commercial arms related to AKs that are produced all across Europe, Americans don't buy them anymore. And the reason that we don't buy them anymore is very simple. They cost too much for what you get. And there are too many additional problems associated with subpar AKs that just kind of weren't really a thing, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, today, when we have depleted through the old Soviet stocks and the ones that are being produced today come in at a substantial premium due to import problems, as well as if you look at its competition with the U.S. domestic market, where you can literally buy a trash tier AR for like sub $500. There is no way that a $700 or $800 AK can compete, because the AR-15, for whatever you want to say about it, is an objectively superior firearm in just about every single category when you compare them apples to oranges to the AK. Unless you're talking about one of the new variants of the AK that has been brought up to modern standard, and those are ridiculously expensive, the trash tier AK cannot compete with the trash tier AR at this point in time, and nobody in this country can afford anything anymore. So, of course, the most logical thing to do is to buy 6 or 7 trash tier ARs in the same caliber. If that doesn't make any sense to you and you think that that is entirely illogical, you are correct, and it doesn't make any sense to me either, but that is the reality of the firearms market in the United States right now. I don't get it either. Can't explain it. It's just what people do. I don't know. But that brings us up to Pioneer Arms. Pioneer Arms is a Polish manufacturer of cast trunnion AKs. Okay. Every time I would see some of my friends that worked at Pioneer Arms at like SHOT or whatever, I'd walk by and I'd say, "Hey, how you guys doing? Have you guys made a forged trunnion gun yet? Talk to me when you do." And it seems to me, and this information that I have acquired was acquired only through third parties. I didn't talk to anybody specifically at Pioneer because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. And sometimes in the death throes of an organization like this, people get lined up that did absolutely nothing wrong just because of the death flailing of the organization. It seems to me, from everybody that I've talked to, that the sales at Pioneer USA were actually pretty good, despite the fact that they are fighting an uphill battle against the PSAs of the world, right? There is still an enthusiast market out there that is cool buying something that, yeah, it has the potential to maybe explode in your face, but you only shoot it a couple times a year, if that, anyway. So it's more of like a wall hanger conversation piece anyway. You don't actually use it. You don't really care that it's not the greatest thing in the world, right? It seems to me that it's actually a Poland problem because it seems like there is an individual of controlling interest on the Polish side that has had consistent personality problems and issues with the Polish government over the years. And because of that, it seems as though the organization has fallen apart. And what brings this to my attention initially was the post on the Pioneer USA Facebook page that was brought to my attention by my brother. People are still buying stuff off their website, but they are closed, and they're basically telling people, don't order stuff because we're not going to ship it to you and we're not going to give you a refund, basically. So I don't know who's in charge of the USA side of stuff right now, but basically they're like, look, this is outside of our control. We don't really know what's going on, but all of the USA branch are gone. And it seems to me, from everybody that I've talked to, that Pioneer proper, as in the Polish side of things, is kaputs as well. So what does that mean? Well, if you're in for, a Polish manufactured AK, well, then this is the time that you would go out and look for those things very rapidly before they dry up or become scarcity priced, so to speak. Now, there are two things that I thought were really neat that were produced at by Pioneer that were actually kind of on my list of things to acquire, but I just never got around to it. The one pistol that's like the machine pistol that has the spike on the end of it, it escapes my memory what the designation of that is this morning, but they had that thing out there. And then the other thing that they did that I thought was really neat was they had a PPSH variant, had the folding stock component like welded to it. So it was a pistol. And then if you wanted to convert that thing to an SBR, then all you had to do was like break the welds after filing the Form 1. So it was one of those things that I had intended to pick up, but it was always like, okay, well, that thing's a little bit pricey for what it is. It's literally a stamped sheet metal gun, but it is a piece of like history, even though it's not like an actual historic weapon. It's a modernly produced firearm with, as I mentioned, medieval metallurgy techniques to produce a gun cheaply and quickly because you don't care about the quality of your conscripts type thing. Yeah. Those were neat, and I would still probably pick one of those up if they weren't ridiculously expensive. But if you are one of those people that is looking for that sort of thing, then I'm making this video to bring it to your attention that if you find one, you should probably pick it up if you really want it, regardless of the price, because it's only going to go up from here because they're probably never going to be made again, because if Pioneer proper in Poland is out, that operation is not getting restarted, because Poland makes stuff cheap, really cheap. And you're not going to bring that to the United States. You're not going to bring that to another European country and restart that thing. The only way that that gets done is if the Chinese were to pick it up and do it, or the Koreans were to pick it up and do it. And I just don't see that happening in this instance, given the commercial viability of the overall market in the largest country for firearms ownership in the world, the United States, is waning in those categories at best. Unfortunately, people who worked here in the United States that probably did a fantastic job are out of a job. All the people that I know that work there left months ago. So I personally don't know anybody who is affected by this, but it is always sad to see a company, regardless of the quality of products that they were making or importing, I suppose, go down, because that is one less supplier to the overall market. And let's be real, that when you've got somebody like a Pioneer in the market, it drags the top down a little bit. I'm not saying that the Pioneer guns were the worst AKs on the market. I'm pretty sure that IO still holds that that title, but there was competition at the bottom, and when there's fierce competition at the bottom of a market like that, then the AKs at the top get drugged down a little bit. Whether they want to admit that or not, it's simple economics. That when you've got the vast majority of people who are buying a particular type of product are seeing the competition at the bottom of the market, then it becomes more difficult for them to justify 2 or 3 times the expenditure at the top of the market. So having somebody like Pioneer fall off is unfortunate across the board for the US AK market and those other cool things that they were making as well. But you will see that reverberate through the rest of that market in the coming weeks, months, and years. So if you see those prices creep up 15, 20%, something like that, that's you can probably pin that to 9/20/2024. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Happy weekend if you do that sort of thing. And hopefully we'll see another video here soon at the VSO Gun Channel. The failure of the Soviet Union is complete.